Peace, salutations, my world. Welcome to another King's Court podcast. Yeah. Get a little hype. We need some energy in the room.
Sir.
Yo, I'm one of your hosts. I'm Scoop. Big E to my right. And on the far end of the other table is Mr. UL, aka Big Breeze. Rest in peace, John Singleton.
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah. So, man, he had a lot of gems, in my opinion. Produced and directed a lot of great films, in my opinion. So let's just touch on some of our favorites. My personal favorite was I'm gonna have to go with Rosewood, man. I think Rosewood was not only was it just my favorite, but it had a purpose to it.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
Like I said, post 18, what they call it, the Reconstruction period, from 1865 to 1877, a lot of black towns arose from slavery.
Right.
Rosewood was one of them. We had about 60 prominent towns where we were prosperous. We controlled all the trade, assets, everything within the city, Black Wall Streets, yada, 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 etc. But Rosewood was definitely one of the prominent black towns at that time.
Absolutely.
So to me, that's why I was so enamored with the film, because it didn't tell the whole story, but it kind of touched on it and brought to light, some of the tyranny that went on against our people post-slavery.
Right.
So that was personally one of my favorites, and just because of the message and the story, the true story behind Rosewood.
Oh man, so many gems he had. I'm about to go with Higher Learning. Okay. Me and you.
That's my second one.
Me and you actually went and saw that.
Yep, that's my
back in
second
'95.
favorite.
We saw that.
Yep.
Touched on, racism. Life on a college campus, the tensions between black students, white students. Ice Cube, another brilliant performance. What up, Omar Epps? He was in there. Tyra. I mean, so many.
Michael Rappaport.
What up, Remy? But I'm about to go with Higher Learning.
All right, since y'all still in the movie, I'm gonna have to go with the classic, The Boys in the Hood. You know what I mean? I think
Can't go wrong.
This is a deep message about what's going on in the communities. It showed the struggle and it showed the pains that you go through. When you're trying to make it in something.
Right.
The misfortune of not being able to make it, you get so close. Like why do you have to go to the liquor store?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying? Why? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That movie to me, it resonated because I know we all had some time in the hood. We lived, we know what it's like out there. So,
Absolutely.
and we know a lot of stars, a lot of athletes, people that probably should have made it, and didn't.
Right.
So
It was Ricky. That was a lot of tier one athletes in the hood that had went through not just gang violence and succumbed to fatalities, but a lot of them succumbed to the street life. Boys in the Hood brought a lot of light to, like you said, not just everyday struggles like you mentioned, but like I said, the nuances of everyday life in the hood. It was like I said,
good times and bad times.
I remember, and plus, Boys in the Hood was the first bootleg movies, and they were bad. They were bad.
The VHS tape.
Man,
Oh my God!
they were
All them
terrible.
baby cries and them heads moving back and forth.
Somebody riding a bike across the
What
bike in the damn movie.
movie theater was that?
Bro,
I forgot.
Drive-in.
man, I swear, I don't know what was worse, that or Atari.
Oh man!
I mean, it was terrible, man. I mean,
It was the first bootleg.
it was the first bootleg movie everybody in the hood had.
When we go see the dead body.
Unfortunately, we saw a lot of those in the hood like that, and that's why it's so relevant, because that's what really goes on.
Right.
Little brother getting their balls taken. Give my little brother his ball back, man. You know how many balls the OGs used to take from us while we playing? We trying to hoop, man, and they just in the middle of the game, man. Yo, man, this ain't a dice game, bro. Like you can't shoot dice in the middle of the court while we trying to hoop. You feel me? So it's like, yo, man, it brings back memories for sure.
Yeah. See, Boys in the Hood for me. Excuse me. It didn't scare me.
Nah,
It made me more aware.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because, we grew up in that era in Los Angeles, early 90s, gang violence, all that good stuff. It didn't frighten me. It made me more, okay, this is what, when you come up in the inner city, no matter where you're from, you make grown-up decisions very early. walking to school every day, you making a grown up decision, and it made me more aware of what's going on around me. Because when you're a shorty, you don't see all that.
Right, you ain't thinking about it. It's just life.
Right, it's just life. I think that Boys in the Hood is his most influential movie because it brought, I think, America aware of what we going through.
Right.
What we're going through, not just in LA, but just in the inner city. And plus, it jump started a lot of careers. We talking about Ice Cube. We talking about Cuba Gooding. We talking about Nia Long. We talking about
she was in it. Huh?
We talking about Morris Chestnut.
Right.
Regina King. Regina King on top of John Singleton. That boosted his career.
You know what? To me too, I think I like how it showed you black fathers exist.
There you go.
In their children's lives and
Furious
style.
Lawrence Fishburne.
And it also touched on teenage pregnancy. Because Ricky had a baby.
That's right.
That could have could have hindered his chances of going pro. That's why he wanted to go to the military. You know what I mean? To provide a better life.
Right.
But he was like, I gotta get out of here by any means necessary.
We got to go.
So it touched on a lot of things. He'll be missed. We'll miss him.
Definitely.
We'll miss him. And
Look, before we get off the topic,
yes, sir.
it was a very important, powerful piece in that movie when Lawrence Fishburne had them in front of a property when they were talking about gentrification.
Absolutely.
That was probably one of the most powerful scenes in movies history. Yeah.
Took him to Compton.
Exactly. Because why? Because it's relevant today.
Yeah.
So were you going to say something else on that, Breeze?
I mean, like I said, man, rest in peace again, man.
Yeah,
rest in peace again, John. We'll miss you,
Great
man.
job in movies.
We'll miss you, man.
Gonna live with us forever.
Absolutely.
Peace, my brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know what? Hold on. Out of Boys in the Hood, that was just only Ice Cube that jump-started Ice Cube's acting career and his business ventures. Let's touch on Cube.
Yeah.
Let's touch on Cube. Hey, let's touch on the big three. Okay. No, you know what? Before we get to the big three, I want to talk about a serious issue. As you know, Cube and a host of other prominent brothers, maybe some sisters in it. I don't have the whole list, but they're trying to buy the television network, from Fox. They're trying to acquire 21 or 22 television networks, sports networks from Fox, okay? So it's been quoted in the paper from Cube himself that certain entities are hindering him from going forward with this purchase. But that's not the first time that's happened when we try to acquire major networks. Okay, I'm gonna go with. Let me go to a statistic I jotted down. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, I believe in America today, I read that there is it's less than 70 black-owned networks, not major networks, but 70 black-owned television stations. My apologies. 70 black-owned television stations. Okay, and I think about 10 radio stations. Okay, so I'm sorry. Blacks own 10 television stations and 70 radio stations. But we don't own any major networks. Well, of course, Oprah has the own network. But we're talking about the ones that control the media, that control 95% of what's going on the airwaves. You know, the Viacoms and guys like that. We don't have any control over anything. So, with that said, okay, let me touch on another stick. So, Disney has purchased. Let me go back to how it originated. Disney purchased 21st Century Fox Entertainment Dynasty, right? So apparently there's regulations going on which prevents Walt Disney from having total control over all the sports networks, okay? So it would own ESPN and all the regional broadcasts, okay? So that would be total monopolization of networks, right? So apparently they have 90 days to sell the 22 networks for the deal to go through, okay? So like I said, Ice Cube has aligned with the likes of Will Smith, Snoop, Serena Williams, and Magic Johnson has jumped on board, okay? LL Cool J. LL was one of the first ones to jump on board with Brother Cube. So, if this were to happen, how successful do you think this could be? I mean, that's 22 networks.
It's big for hip hop. It's big for our people.
Right.
In general, that I think could be very successful because you got people that's been in the game for a minute and they know how the business works.
Right.
So if they get their hands on that, I think they're gonna do a good job with it.
Yeah.
Do what it's supposed to do.
Disney is supposedly taking his bid for the network. They said that they feel he has the backing
Okay.
and the finances
That's good to
to
hear.
make it happen. So
That's good to
Disney's
hear.
on board.
We're talking 15 billion or what?
I think I heard 10 billion was the last.
Well, he
number.
has a billionaire business partner. And there's also 2 investment banking firms that are backing Cube.
okay,
So
okay.
Cube definitely
That's
has the
huge.
support. He
That's
has the
huge.
support.
Yeah, that's
He has the support. And when Disney says, yeah, we'll give you a chance. We'll give you an opportunity. He has a good chance of acquiring Fox. We all know Fox aired the Big Three for the first 2 seasons.
Right.
He just signed, the Big Three just signed a major broadcasting deal with CBS
They did with CBS, yeah.
to exclusively air the Big Three.
Oh, it's exclusive on CBS
exclusive.
now.
CBS Sports.
That's dope.
Saturday night prime time.
Okay.
So
That's
big
huge.
up to the Big Three on that.
up. Yes,
You know,
up.
Ice Cube is definitely he took the Big Three to new levels.
It's
Yeah, big-
difficult to start a league.
Man,
I was watching
he
some
did
earlier-
that.
Yeah,
did
I was
that.
watching some earlier. You know, they was talking about how difficult it is to start a league. Like the dude was like, "You heard of XFL?" He was like,
Right.
right, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you know what I'm saying?
Or even LeVar's
Bars and JBA.
the JBA.
Yeah.
Even his league.
Even up. I mean, it's not. See, they say it's difficult because they want to deter our people from really starting our own leagues. Like, remember a few years ago when the NBA locked out?
Right.
I think this was probably when
2012?
Miami Heat won the first championship.
2012.
Around that time.
Right.
Carmelo Anthony let it be known, hey, let's start our own league. And I mean, he got ridiculed. They drug his name in the mud. I mean, it was total disrespect. They called him everything from stupid. They might as well just call him a nigger. Because basically those are the code words they were using. Stupid, that's not a smart business move. It's not intelligent. We know the code words.
Right.
But they want to deter our people from empowering ourselves. And not only that, but our talents.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But
Here's a stat I like to throw at y'all. Season 1 of the Big Three, the average attendance was 10,756. Season 2, the attendance went up to 13,484. So the attendance went up. Not only did the attendance go up, ratings went up 107% in season 2. So it's definitely caught on. And in 2020 in the Olympics,
they have the 3-on-3 basketball
they
now.
have 3-on-3
Yeah.
basketball now. So it influenced the Olympics. So I think that the Big Three, like you said, people scoffed at it, people laughed at it.
He was on to something.
He was on to something.
He was on to something.
He was on to something,
Like,
for sure.
But of course, what makes it work was, of course, you had the former NBA players.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can't just, like I said, you can't just have anybody playing 3-on-3. You got to have guys that know, of course, guys that can play. But why not have former NBA players? I mean, and I'll be honest with you, I'd rather watch a lot of the Big Three games than some of these NBA games.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's these guys play hard. It's physical.
Right. It's
You know,
threes, all
yeah,
over.
exactly. So I mean,
And plus, it gives us more basketball in the summer.
right, it keeps us
You know,
20
that-
out.
The NBA season ends
Year-round.
mid-June. It gives us more basketball to watch in the summertime.
That's always beautiful.
That's always a good
Like I said, I like the WNBA, but like I said, the Big Three gave me really something to look, because the WNBA isn't put on TV as much as it used to be.
Right, right.
You know, that product's kind of dissipating in some way, shape, or form. Even though they just signed a major deal with CBS, I believe, also. Yeah, so they're going to be on prime time also. But hopefully, it gets the ratings. We'll see what happens with that. But like I said, Big Three definitely keeps us in tune to basketball year round now.
Right.
So with that said, what do you think this means, not just for our people, but will it help change the narrative of how, I know it's just sports networks, but with us influencing the network, it can help shape the narrative placed on our people. You know, people always, put all these little prejudice stuff on TV, put us in a box. You know, especially when we don't control the narrative of what the media is putting out there. So with this play, I think, you know, it will lead to other things. Like I think Byron Allen just purchased the Weather Channel
Is that right?
for like 300 something million.
I didn't know that.
So that was so that was a pretty powerful move.
Yeah, that's big.
Now with this being put in place, that's another powerful move. But I would like to see not just sports networks. I would like to see it trickle over to more mainstream networks.
Right.
You know, like I said, I want us to have the control of the narrative of what's being said about us, so we could really help educate our people more,
Right.
enlighten our people, really know some real history, not just what these people.
Basic
Yeah, just basic stuff. You know, we tired of hearing about slavery and come on, our history is way deeper than that. Without our history, there is no history. So what do you think is the ramifications of this for our people as a total?
I think it's going to open the floodgates. It's going to show people that we can. You know, once we get somebody in that door, it's going to be like, oh, shit, Cube and them, yeah, you did that. They got 22 networks. And they had to fight. You know, like I said, they're getting outbidded all day. There's some entity out there that's trying to make it more difficult than it should be. You know, brother trying to get his money. Every time Bill Cosby got locked up, every time he tried to get some and try to, they took Mike to, you know what I'm saying, they don't want us to have, so they get in here and they can manage to stay alive. It's going to be a real good look. It's going to be a real good look.
I think it'll help also create jobs.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's a
absolutely.
big.
I think that's the most important thing. It'll help create jobs. Plus, it shows that a guy from the hood with no college education can take over, major media broadcasting. And
You don't necessarily need a college education.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, no.
Coming from where Q comes from, he's not supposed to have made it
Right,
this,
he's not
as far
supposed
as
to
he's
make it,
made in the
exactly.
last 30 years. We're talking, he went from NWA
Exactly.
to a major businessman.
Right.
Owner.
He got his own film studios and stuff like that.
I mean, that's Cube vision,
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So the moves he's making is almost comparable to Nip and showing people that they can do it.
We
They can do it, man.
We
They
can
can
do it. Because like I said, I'm gonna give you a quick quote. What the ancestor brother Malcolm said. The media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and to make the guilty look innocent. That's power, because they control the minds of the masses. Like I said, with our people in control of our own media, we give our own narrative, and we can give the masses of our people real knowledge and real aspects of us, and not some aspect of people that want to keep us in an inferior state. So with that said, man, congratulations to Big Q.
Yes,
Let's talk about the big three for a minute.
Yeah, like you mentioned, former NBA players, a lot of faces we forgot, a lot of faces that are introduced to a younger audience that they probably never heard of. What players would y'all like to see in the future in the big three?
Delonte West. No, I'm playing.
Man,
Tell them to leave that banjo at home.
damn, Delonte, he playing the banjo on the freeway right now.
He gonna pull up. He gonna pull up.
That Kool-Aid off his
He gonna pull up in that beach cruiser.
Nah, leave Delonte alone. Mental health is real, man.
Yeah.
Respect Delonte.
Yeah, we just having a little
Yeah,
fun.
let's have fun with it.
Good.
So what's the question? We said,
We're here, Breeze. We're here.
no, I'm saying we talk about.
Yeah, we're on Earth.
Bro, looking for the dispensary that's open right now.
You want to Postmates again, man?
Nah, you're crazy.
You see that thing over there? It's a camera.
Hey, look, but shit, since you taking too damn long, the player I like to see playing the big three.
Or players. Or players.
I'm gonna name one. It's pretty obvious who I'm gonna name. And that's Kobe. I want to see Mr. Bryant playing the big three. Not only would it boost the ratings substantially,
They will go through the roof.
man, but
Absolutely.
man, the competitive state of the league would just, it would just incline crazy. Because Kobe is, I think he still got it, bro. Honestly, I think if he came out of retirement, I think he could still give a team 15.
He's still in the gym.
Yeah,
He's in the gym, man.
Whether he say it or not, you know he is.
Yeah.
You always try to say
He still wakes up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym at 5 every day. He's still in there. I got a few names written down here. It kind of gives a street ball vibe, the big three. I like to see God Sham God. Ooh. If y'all don't know God Shamgar, y'all better look him up. He had the best handles I've ever seen in my life. Best handles I've ever seen in my life. If kids, y'all out there, y'all need to watch some God Shamgar
Have a
footage.
move named after him.
The Shamgar. He had a whole move. The Shamgar. I like to see my man Allen Iverson in there.
Ooh,
I think that would be fun.
that'll be fun.
You know, I think that would be
real
fun.
But he had the chance to, man. I don't think he was serious about it though.
Yeah, I know.
He wasn't serious about it.
Rip Hamilton.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I like to see Rip.
Yeah.
I like to see him in there. Here's one I think you'll enjoy. Stevie Franchise.
Ooh,
Steve Francis.
Hey, I'm gonna hit on another killer. People slept on him, but he was a killer. You know, when I went on my visit at Fresno State, he was all love, and that's Rafer Alston.
Ooh, I forgot about
Skip
Skip.
to my Lou,
Ooh.
Skip to my Lou. That's all
forgot about
love.
Skip.
Skip was one of my favorites, yo.
I forgot about
Like,
Skip.
look,
Streets to the hardwood.
man, if Skip was playing right now with these rules, these watered down defensive rules,
Oh my God.
He would be killing.
come on, bro.
There'd be a lot of highlights.
Come on, bro.
See, the thing about Skip to my Lou never crossed over into the NBA. Because they tried to take that away from him.
they tried
They
to
tried to turn him into
Yeah.
Rafer Alston. And I think if the NBA, if
feel that.
the teams he played for would have marketed Skip, he'd have been the biggest brand at that time. He'd have been the biggest brand.
If you marketed, yeah, I
At
don't
that
think
time.
at that time. I don't think he was. I think he was ahead of that time because the
That's what I'm
NBA is more entertainment now.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So his
That's what I'm
entertainment
saying.
value
That's what I'm saying.
from Skip to my Lou, if he was present,
Oh man.
yo man,
Especially with the younger generation.
crazy. It'd be up there with Steph. He wouldn't have the shooting prowess Steph has, but I'm talking about the entertainment value with the handles, with the showmanship, with the fancy passing. It'd be crazy. He'd be crazy. But I definitely like to see Skip in a big three.
I got somebody else.
What about T-Mac?
You took my. I was just about to say he's right here.
My dude, right
I was gonna say T-Mac.
Hey, people used to get on me. T-Mac is one of my favorite
Yeah,
players ever.
yeah.
Like I said, barring injury, when he was healthy, that's 30 piece a night.
Oh, easy.
30 piece a night easily. I mean, not many 6'8", 6'9" guys
Right.
can play 1, 2, and 3 effectively.
Right.
T
took
Mac
my
had
guy.
a game that was like, man, his handle was sick. He had defense. He had shot. He could give you whatever you wanted. Kobe even said it. Kobe,
Yeah.
that was his toughest matchup.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I just wish T Mac was healthy,
Right.
and I wish he had a little more of that Kobe mentality. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, but he would take over games, man.
Let's talk about the
God,
what was that, the Spurs? They
13 points
yeah.
in 13 points in 30 seconds.
Yeah, that
Ridiculous.
was crazy.
13 points in
Last
30
shot, he just
seconds.
ran down the court.
Right.
Come on, man.
Money.
I remember I was watching the game with you, and it was a Sunday afternoon, and we're just like,
He just do this?
he just do that.
Right.
I mean, you're down 12 with 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Game's over.
Game's over.
Game's over.
Psychologically, a lot like these cats in the playoffs. They down 5 and they're not even trying to foul.
Man, they not even
Game's
foul. It's
over.
25 seconds on the clock. Y'all not
Right.
fouling? Anyway, that's another stuff.
Right, right.
That surpassed that Reggie Miller 8 points. What was that? 8 points.
Don't
how long?
remind
I know you're
me.
a diehard
Yeah,
Knicks
that was
fan.
y'all.
Don't
Big
remind
E,
me.
diehard Knicks fan.
Don't
Forgive us.
remind me, man.
But that Reggie Miller,
Don't remind me.
what was that? 8 points in
8
how long?
points in
8 points in
Like 3 seconds?
8 seconds.
6 seconds or something
8
crazy?
points in like 8 seconds.
That's crazy.
Ridiculous.
Wait, hold on. Did we mention Ray Allen?
No, we didn't.
Ooh.
We showed you. That's definitely. That's
Ray.
definitely Ray.
Ray, yo.
Ooh.
Ray, man.
Ooh, I
I
forgot
think
about
Ray is another cat I think
Still
could come get you 10 to 12 points in the league today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only what, 38, 39? Maybe 40?
He's in his early 40s.
Okay.
He's in his early 40s.
Yeah, Gita Shuttleworth was.
Well, it was fairly recent, maybe about 3-4 years ago. The Golden State Warriors reached out to him.
Few teams did, yeah.
A few teams did.
Few teams
Golden
did.
State, it was close. Was close to getting them during their, I think their first championship run. What about Grant Hill?
I was
thinking about Grant.
What about Grant?
I think about Grant. I think I was gonna say Grant honestly, but I figured since Grant had some really really horrific kind of injuries, like almost career ending injuries that he came back from. I figured he don't want nothing to do with playing again.
I think so.
But if Grant Hill was healthy for his whole, what he played, 18 years? 16?
19.
He played 19 years. If Grant Hill was healthy for 15 or 16 of those years, we're talking about a top 5 player of all time.
All time. And he would have been the triple-double leader.
He would have been a triple-double leader. I guarantee you he'd have averaged 1 or 2 seasons with a whole averaging a triple-double. I'm not talking about a watered-down Westbrook triple-double. I'm talking about effective triple-double that's leading to deep playoff runs.
Right. But see, that was the only knock on Grant Hill when he was healthy. He didn't have great playoff success.
Right.
But I mean, this dude, he did everything. This is the first LeBron James.
Really?
And I'm gonna go on the limb and say that. This is the first LeBron James, a guy who played 3 or 4 positions, can guard 3 or 4 positions, did everything. The man can pass, he can shoot, he can dribble,
Defend.
he can defend.
He did everything.
He was known as a slasher cutter, but once he added that mid range,
It was over.
it was a wrap.
It was over. I'm gonna go on a limb. Matter of fact, it's not going on a limb because I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people that agree with me. Grant Hill was healthy. He's a better player than LeBron James. He doesn't have the physicality, but athleticism, he was right there. He wasn't as powerful as LeBron, but he was more of a silky smooth athlete that could give you whatever you want. His handle and his moves, he had way better foresight. Okay, real quick. I think you got guys that are good ball handlers. You got guys that have handles. Then you got guys that got that bag. Okay, Grant Hill was a guy that had handles. Like I think LeBron's a good ball handler, but Grant Hill had handles. At 6'8", he can cross you over, mix behind the back. We don't see that a lot from LeBron. It's just downhill a lot with LeBron.
Head
Back
down.
up real quick.
I was going to say, people slept on Grant Hill's crossover.
Man, Grant Hill had an impeccable cross. Ask Scottie Pippen about that cross on Jordan too.
He know Grant Hill very well. Ask the Knicks. He used to kill John Starks, Chris Mills.
Give it to him.
Oh boy.
He used to kill those guys. I had a name, it just slipped my mind. Oh, he has a job now, so obviously he can't do it. He's out there coaching. It's the name that's gonna get you excited, especially Penny.
Oh, I was thinking that too.
Like I said, over at University of Memphis.
I'm calling Anthony.
Anthony.
Man, Anford.
He's kind of busy. He's kind of busy nowadays recruiting, but that's somebody.
Where's he recruiting at?
Memphis. He's the head coach at Memphis, University of Memphis.
That's alma mater.
Yes, sir.
Hey, look, Penny's another guy. If he's healthy, how many years did Penny play? 14, something like that.
Penny played
He ended up
about
with Phoenix, didn't he?
13,
Yeah, I think
14.
I think he finished his career with Phoenix. If Penny's healthy, Penny's another guy that's in the top 15, 20 players of all time.
Yeah. But to your point on Grant Hill being better than LeBron, he played 6 years before he got hurt. He got hurt in 2000, first round against Miami.
And he was at the end of them year 5 or 6. He was ascending as the best player into the league in the league. Post Jordan.
That goes into my question. Do you guys think we saw a bigger sample size of Grant Hill to make that statement?
I think I did. I say
Like
no.
Grant Hill's first 6 years compared to LeBron's first 6 years. Grant Hill's numbers are probably better. I mean, as far as the rebounding and the assists.
No, they're probably equal.
Oh, you think equal?
I think they're probably equal. I just think Grant had more to his game
That's what I'm saying.
off the dribble.
That's what I'm saying.
And like it was hard to keep him in front of you.
Right.
You know, I mean, but damn, first 5 or 6 years, LeBron was the fat. See, the difference between LeBron and Grant. LeBron was the fastest, most athletic guy in the league for a good 10 years. Like, I mean, he's faster than 6'1" Tony Parker. You know, all the little guys. That's
Derrick
faster.
Rose.
He's faster, just as fast, if not faster than Derrick Rose.
Russell Westbrook.
In the end,
John Wall.
he was 1 or 2 faster in the league. But I just think Grant Hill had more to his game.
Yeah.
Other than, like I said, take away the physical prowess LeBron has.
Right.
Grant Hill
Right.
to me had more to his game.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Now we're talking about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I do. I think he did show enough to
think so?
be able to make the statement that we make
so?
about
Yeah.
him being.
Yeah.
You know, we saw a good portion of him. We saw him give us great basketball.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like you said, he may not have had the stature as LeBron, but his package was pretty filthy.
He like I said, he was ascending. He was going into the post Jordan era, and everybody knew next up. We of course obvious was Shaquille, but next up
Was Grant.
was Grant Hill.
Yeah.
And Grant Hill and Penny Hardaway, and dang, both of them succumbed to injuries. But
Yeah, man. I mean, we're talking, like you said, we're talking about, Jordan leaving to go play baseball. Everybody thought the league was going to fold. Grant Hill was next to get that baton. I mean, Grant Hill was the guy. He was going to be the face of the league, like you said, for the next 5 to 10 years if he would stay healthy. I think he broke his foot.
yeah, that ankle injury.
Right.
Now, let me real quick. Do you guys think he had the personality and the charisma to carry the league or carry the torch as the face of the league?
Too nice.
Too nice. Like a Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan was too nice. Kawhi, too nice guy.
Yeah,
Great
too
players,
nice.
but too nice.
Too nice. Too nice.
much.
Jordan had the swag. He had the charisma. He had the walk. You know what I mean? He had the silhouette. You know what I mean? Like if you look at the Jordan cologne, the silhouette, it was marketable.
Right.
Did Grant Hill have I don't know. He was too lax for me. Too laid
Yeah,
back.
he was laid back, silky smooth. He more like, like I said, he's that smooth, charismatic guy. You take him, pick up a bunch of women. You know for sure, man. Hey,
He's a wingman.
No, man, you got to be careful because Grant might take the baddest one in there. So if you got your eye on her, Grant might swoop in. You got to step your A game up when you're in the club with Grant.
Right.
But
He pulled to me.
yeah, to me, it's a beautiful sister. Like I said, Grant Hill was that guy.
Right.
Grant Hill was that guy. I think he would have been that guy.
Been that guy. So let's go from NBA past.
Yeah, how did we get on? We went on. Grant Hill took 10 minutes.
That's all right. Hey, but he was worth it. He was worth it.
Yeah.
He was worth it. I think people when they look at the NBA, his name gets overlooked
I was about to say
because of the injury. So I think it was important for us to put his name out there. And
Respect Grant.
what up, Grant? So let's jump from NBA past to NBA present. Zion Williamson, Mr. Williamson. We all know him from the dunks. We all know him from the highlights. We got a big sample size from Zion. Excuse me, this season.
Right.
Playing deep into the tournament. I think Elite Eight. They made it to the Elite Eight.
But he struggled all the way.
He struggled, but he picked it up. You know what I mean? He did struggle to adjust.
Well, I'm talking about as far as the games that they played. None of the games.
I don't think he didn't struggle because his numbers were
There's nothing. He didn't.
Phenomenal.
But go ahead. Just I'll get back to my point.
Okay, is he? The draft is coming up next month. Is he a lock? Is he a lock for number one, regardless on who gets him? Whether it's New York, whether it's Phoenix, Chicago, etc. Is he a lock?
I honestly don't think so. At first, because I see. I think it depends on the team. Are you going to need him? Do you have? Of course, like Eric was talking about earlier. He's a blockbuster. It's going to fill your seats up. But if you had that position, the only way I could see, well, he'll be a lot if a team decides. We looking at teams that are just looking for trade bait. Sometimes if they do have somebody in that position, but somebody like the Knicks. They do get the first pick. That's a lot, I think it just depends on
Depends on the team. Okay,
Yeah.
I agree with you for sure. I definitely agree with you. I'm going to say this: he's a generational athlete. We haven't seen his game peak because he still has a lot to work on. He has to work on his off the dribble game, his back to the basket game, mid range game. I'm not so big on the 3-point shot. If he extends it, if he can shoot around 35%, perfect. I'm not asking you to shoot 40, 45%. If you can shoot about 35%, a guy like that, I don't want him falling in love with 3-pointers, especially in today's game. His game, he's going to be the most powerful guy in the league the day he walks into the league. You 6'7", 6'8", at 285. And I bet you, bro, running a 4.5, 4.6, that's bananas. Man. He's a generational athlete, and I think he's a lock at the number 1 pick. Like I said, but depending on who has the pick, some teams might trade down because they're looking. I think the guy that could be 1 or 2 is John Morant.
Right, yeah, boy, bad.
That's a bad boy. You know, like I said, Morant is a guy. I like 6'5", 6'6" point guards that are athletes, can handle, can shoot, defend, that give you everything.
Right.
So a team, like I said, if a team like Phoenix gets the pick, that's a guy they might want. So if they get 1, they might be willing to trade 2 to get an asset because they know the number 2 pick is going to take Zion. So I could swap picks with you and get an asset on top of the pick swap and still get my guy and somebody else from you because you want him a little more than I do. So no matter what, he's still going to be the number 1 pick, no matter who it is. Like I said, but depending on who it is, they might trade that pick. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like I said, so like I said, he has a lot to work on. But like, man, I met him in Carolina. I met him in Raleigh in November at a concert, and he's a humble kid, respectable kid. I wish him nothing but success, and I think with his work ethic, I'm sorry. Let me leave the Ebonics alone. With his work ethic, he could be a he could be a generational type player, you know.
There's certain like number 1 picks that you just couldn't pass on. You weren't gonna pass on Magic Johnson. You weren't gonna pass on Hakeem Olajuwon. You weren't gonna pass on Shaquille O'Neal.
Kareem.
You weren't gonna pass on Allen Iverson. You weren't gonna pass on LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Those guys were locks. I agree, depending on who gets the pick. Now, let's talk about the Knicks. If the Knicks get the pick, and I'm saying we because I'm a Knicks fan, if we get that pick,
You from LA and all your favorite teams are the fucking New York teams.
hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Hey,
Shit.
It's my life.
Leave me alone.
I like who I like. But I think if the Knicks get the number 1 pick, I mean, they can do so many things. I mean, naturally, Zion Williamson, he's going to put butts in the seats. He's going to be the main ticket, especially in opposing arenas. But we talking about, I could flip that number 1 pick and get Anthony Davis to team Anthony Davis up with potentially Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. That changes everything. You know what I mean? But it won't be so bad teaming up Kyrie and KD with Zion. So I think
That's if
if
they could get them, yeah.
if the Knicks can get
We-
them.
like I said-
Right now, the Knicks keep the pick. And obviously Zion's going there if they get the number 1 pick. Phoenix, on the other hand, it'll be hard to pass on Zion. But for what the Phoenix Suns need right now, which is a starting point guard with star quality, I'm going to go with John Morant. He fits the team needs. He has potential. He has all-star written all over him. We saw what he did, you know, in the tournament. Only 2 games.
with limited help.
No help.
Against, like I said, you're in the tournament on the big stage against high major Division I opponents.
Right.
And he stood out even up until the championship game. People were talking about John Morant. You know, it's like, yo, man. But with that said, Yoel, I'm gonna ask you first. Do you think he could carry a franchise?
That's the thing.
Or is he going to come in? He's going to sell seats because of athleticism.
Right.
Okay. He has he's a freakish athlete. He's Dominique and Sean Kemp and all those guys in the one. He might jump higher than those guys. With just as power, with just as much power as those
They ain't
guys.
jump as high as Zion.
Do you think he's a franchise changer?
That's going to depend on him. And you said he got the work ethic now. I believe he does, so I think he can, but he's going to have to work on the things that he needs to work on.
What do you think he needs to work on? Like, what's his game?
Well, I think Zion would probably, like you say, stay away from that jumper for right now.
Right.
Start working on the mid-range.
Yeah, exactly.
And start getting more on the block, because I know he likes to hang around outside a
Likes to
little bit.
linger.
Drive,
Likes to linger.
But that's good because he's a slasher, so I'm not mad at that.
Right.
But
Yeah, I can live with that if he's slashing and not
Yeah.
selling for jumping.
right. So it's really not much he has to work on to be to be able to carry a team, but it's they're very minute things. And once he starts picking them up, it's just little things here and there, and then
start filling
He'll
his
be more
stats.
complete.
Yeah,
Make
maybe
more
as soon as he
complete.
gets himself more complete, then I think he can.
He's like I said, he's dynamic. Okay.
He is.
What position do you think he plays in the league? To me, I'm gonna tell you first. I think he's a power forward.
Yeah.
I mean, he has the speed and athleticism of a three. But like I said, a lot of these teams like the three, like the threes to be effective 3-point shooters.
Right.
I think if you put 6'8", 285, running a 4'5", 4'6" at the 4, we have a matchup nightmare against opposing fours. I don't care about no stretch fours. Okay, you can have as many stretch fours as you want. Defensively, a stretch 4 is going to have problems with Zion. He cannot guard Zion. Who's a stretch 4? Who's a prominent stretch 4? Kuzma. Kuzma was going to get bullied by Zion.
Draymond,
Draymond is going to get bullied. And
Serge
Draymond's a strong cat.
Serge Ibaka. No, I'm saying like guys that he will.
Oh, Serge Ibaka, he's
Yeah.
he's faster and more athletic than Serge.
yeah,
At this stage of Serge Ibaka's career.
right.
But Zion's going to be a problem as a stretch 4.
Yeah, I might think the size 6'7", 6'8", 285. Unfortunately, they're going to make him adapt to today's game. They're going to force him to shoot 1,000 jumpers.
I hope they don't.
They're going to,
hope.
especially a team like Phoenix who likes to run and gun, a team that likes to shoot. They're going to force him because he is an undersized power forward. I think he'll be more effective at the power forward. We talk about guys like Larry Johnson, Charles Barkley, Montrezl Harrell, Ben Wallace. You know,
Undersized, big guy.
undersized big men.
He has a little more different dynamic.
No, I'm saying like
though.
undersized.
I'm
that
saying-
can be effective. You know what I mean?
I think he has more wing skill set to him
Right.
as a power forward.
Yeah.
You know, like it's really not too like you could play LeBron at the power forward. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
Right,
comparing
right,
him to LeBron, but I'm just talking about speed and athleticism. Him at the forward has a lot of a 3 playing 4. Like I said, I hope they don't make him primarily a jump shooter because now you're taking away from his true strengths.
true strength.
His true strengths are power, slashing at the rim, finishing. You know, like I said, I don't mind you spotting up here and there. Just let's not get him into the habit of taking 3, 4, more than 3 threes a game. You know, I don't want him turning into a Al Horford type cat that's strictly perimeter oriented.
Yeah, there was a couple of games, I can't remember who they played in the tournament, where he kind of started to fall in love with that corner 3. Now, granted, the college 3-point line is a little smaller than NBA. I would love to see Zion more in the post.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
We all know what he can do with full steam, head to the you know, going to the rim. We all know what he can do. We all know he jumps out the gym. Me, I want to see more post play. I want to see what your footwork is. I want to see him develop a nice post hook, maybe a fadeaway,
Some face up. I like
some
to
face
see-
up, because he's explosive and athletic enough to face up, go by you, bam, to the basket. He's
gonna know how to shoot, bust his shoes up. So
man, how do you break your shoes?
Like, you know, that.
These
right
ain't
there.
Payless shoes.
right.
These are Kyrie's.
Well, they have to reach.
Or they Paul George's.
Nike even said they were Paul George's.
Paul George's.
Nike even said if he was to sign on with Nike, that's going to be a mega deal for one. That's going to be it's going to be an astronomical deal. He might get 50 to 100 million out the gates.
I believe it.
For sure. But they said they would reconstruct the shoe specifically to fit him. Like I said, because the way he cuts and moves is so powerful that he might have to play in Tim's. Let's be 100. You know, let's put some bottles. Let's get them Tim soles right, bro. I mean, and it's funny. With Tim's on, he's gonna be dunking from the free throw line.
Right.
Bro is a next level athlete. But
Definitely.
all jokes aside, man, bro, I've never seen these cuts. He cuts so powerful,
Man.
bro. He plants his foot so powerful. Similar like a bigger Derrick Rose used to when he cuts and plants and lands.
hard.
That's why
That's why he got injured so much.
I heard that was he did that his whole life.
But his body type isn't Zion.
Right. So
Okay, I mean, you've seen his lower torso is built for that, you know. So, but like I said, Nike said they would specifically make shoes to cater to his strengths and his specific needs.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the shoe deal. There's 6 companies that are in line to sign Zion Williamson, and they said it's going to be $100 million deal, regardless on whether he goes, regardless on whether it's Nike, Puma, Reebok, Adidas. They said it's going to be $100 million deal, regardless on what shoe deal he gets.
Pay the man.
They said this deal is going to be bigger than Derrick Rose's. It's going to be bigger than LeBron's.
Their first deals.
The first deal.
Their first deals.
Because
Okay.
LeBron got $90 million out the gates.
Yeah.
Damn, he did get 90 something.
Out the gates.
Ooh. The minute he finished his last high school game, the man got handed $90
million.
No, but a contract, $90 million.
Not literally. Right.
That's crazy, man.
But Zion Williamson,
18, see, no
right
matter.
now, in about 6 weeks when the draft is up, he's going to sign a $100 million sneaker deal.
He can sign it now.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
But no.
Yeah.
But like when LeBron, like I said, his last game he signed.
Yeah.
Like so his like Zion Williamson is one of the probably a handful of people. No matter what your credit score is, his parents could go into any bank and say, "I need about $10 million right now."
Right.
Say less.
As soon as they find out whose mom he is,
Right. Because
they're gonna give him more than what she asked for.
man,
You
shit,
want more than
man,
that,
bro.
They're gonna give him more than what she
You need
asked for.
10? Here, we'll give you 15. You ain't got to pay back 5. Just market us. Come on. Because he's a next level
You're right.
brand.
Right.
So you know for sure that's guaranteed money. Unfortunately, I don't want to label the brother like this, but he's a valuable asset. And, you know,
Yeah.
so he can go anywhere you
Yes.
want. You get whatever you want because he's the asset. Like LeBron's mother went in and got that Hummer
70,000.
loan or something, I heard.
70,000.
Because your son is the asset. You know, but with that said, I think
There wasn't one bank in America
No, deny.
that was gonna turn down Gloria James when they knew they found out that LeBron was her son. There was not one bank that was gonna turn her down.
No, heck.
She went there for 70. She probably got $1 million.
bro, they whatever you need. Who's your son?
Exactly.
Say less. You just gotta walk into the bank. Hey, y'all, I'm Zion Williamson's mother. You ain't even gotta say his full name. I'm
walk-
Zion's mother.
Walk in there with a sign, Zion mom with an arrow pointing down.
Right.
You're getting whatever you want.
Whatever you need right
They're
now.
gonna be like, "Won't you loan us 10,000?" Shit.
Let me hold something. real quick.
Bad for real. So who do y'all think is who y'all think is the best shoe company fan?
Hey, Bree, don't come up with this Air Ortho shit. We ain't rocking Air Orthos.
Zion, come aboard, bro. I got you.
Hey man,
Hey, okay, because
Bree
let me let.
he gonna say a Via.
He gonna say a V. No, I'm gonna let the public know. Breeze, big Mr. UL has orthopedic shoes he wears from time to time. So if you hear us joking about Air Orthos, our brother wear the Air the orthopedics.
My brother don't want to let me put the 3K on him, so I'm gonna have to go on that venture by myself. It's all good though. So look, ain't no love lost. You know what I'm
Air
saying?
Orthos.
He's spray painting the upside down Nike sign.
Hey, it's gonna be a little. I should have brought him.
No, you leave it
got
alone, man. No, you don't.
We gonna do that next show. That's for the next show. We got you. But they look hard. I'm telling you.
Bro, they look like motherfucking Crocs with straps. Motherfuckers is trash, G.
Bro, he came in with them. I thought he was wearing the boxes. He came in wearing the damn boxes.
Fuck.
But yeah, I mean, obviously,
These niggas said we're in the box.
oh man, we love you, man.
That's all I love. We just want to
obviously-
let the public know
Yeah,
what we're
yeah,
joking
yeah,
about.
Yeah, right. Keep it.
But obviously, from a marketing standpoint, it's Nike. It's Nike.
It's the best situation.
Now, do I see Zion with his own signature shoe and gear, like a Kyrie or LeBron or Kobe? Do you see Zion like his own apparel line? Do you see a ZW shirts running around there?
Let's
gotta
see
see more.
how it does. Let's
Right.
let's see how he does his first 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Now, if he lives up to the expectations, exceeds the expectations, his own line is coming immediately. They're not gonna wait.
Right.
You know, like LeBron had his shoe line, his own brand with Nike immediately.
Right away.
But he didn't have the skill set LeBron had at the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So,
like, can
that
Zion,
play
like,
out.
to your original point, Zion, can he lead a franchise? Can he be that guy, the missing piece to a struggling lottery team. Can
I
he?
think we got some time to see. It's
A question mark. Yeah. Because although he's a next level talent, he is going to be a number 1 or 2 pick. We all know that. He didn't have that LeBron, Shaq, Anthony Davis, like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna lead us.
that's right.
He doesn't have that aura around him. We just get spoiled and enamored with the highlights. And he can do more than just dunk.
Right.
You know, he's not a finished product.
Right.
But there's so little that he needs to work on. So little.
And
It seems like
he knows that too.
Right,
I've heard him
yeah.
on occasion say, "I just want to be able to do everything. I don't want to be a 1 or 2 dimensional
Right,
player.
right,
You know, I
right.
want to be able to do multiple things. You know what I'm saying? A multitude of things.
that's what I like about him.
Right.
And he's smart. And I think eventually he will be able to carry a franchise, and he'll have shit out there, merch and all kinds of shirts. and
Absolutely.
everything.
Absolutely.
My point, real quick, before we get off the topic. I think his humbleness is gonna carry him to the next level.
Good kid. He's
Like
a
I
good
said, man.
kid.
Like I said, when I met him, I got a feeling like, yo, man, this kid right here, he has something special about the way he handles himself. You know, I like the way he handled himself his whole freshman season.
Mature above his
He's
years.
mature. He's quiet. He says the right things. You know, so I think his humbleness is gonna what's gonna be his drive to make him the best player he can be. What that will be, we don't know yet. But I think his ceiling is Karl Malone-esque, but his bottom is, let's say, Anthony Mason.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I mean, like,
Just
you
a
know,
bully on
he's just a bully on the block, something like Rodney Rogers type of guy, left-handed,
Forgot
smooth.
about Rodney Rogers.
But like I said, his ceiling, I think, hell. Like I said, I think his ceiling is crazy. Like I said,
Yeah, almost limitless.
it's limitless. I want to say Karl Malone because I think Karl Malone's great,
right.
and his physicality. Their physicality is similar,
Right.
but I think his game would be different because, like I said, I think he'll have more to his game
Right.
than what Karl Malone brought to the table. Like I said, he has the athleticism, he has the face-up skills, he has the slashing skills, he has the handle. But Karl Malone doesn't really have. But like I said, I just compare Karl Malone because Karl Malone's a Hall of Famer,
Right.
and he's a physical prowess. He's a physical freak of nature.
Right.
But on the last note, if he developed Karl Malone's jumper, if Zion
mid-range
developed
game?
Karl Malone's mid-range,
Yeah,
no, the outlaw this
limitless.
kid. Outlaw this kid.
He's an outlaw.
They got the outlaw.
Yo, man. So look, let's get off Zion for a minute. Let's get back. Let's touch on the Lakers, man. So I know we talked about them last podcast, but
Yeah, we're probably gonna be talking about them all
yeah,
summer.
we'll talk about them
A
all
lot of
summer
information.
because we don't want to. Like I said, one thing I feared about LeBron and the Lakers not making the playoffs was they were going to take too much from the playoffs. It's going to be more Laker talk than it would be NBA playoff talk.
Right.
But fuck it, we do our own thing. Let's talk about who's going to be the next head coach for the Lakers. The rumor is Tyronn Lue is the guy.
I applaud that.
Okay. You applaud that?
All right. I do.
I mean, I'm not. Hey, Reeves is probably. I grew up a Laker fan, but once I learned the business of the game, I began to admire players more. Breeze has always been an affluent Laker fanatic. I mean, I'm a Laker fan, but you know, I'm more into players.
Yeah,
So
right,
I'll let Breeze get his clap on. But with that said,
Right,
do you
right.
think Tyronn Lue is the right fit?
I think it is in on the grounds that he's already coached LeBron. I
Okay.
think they got that connection. They got a cool little chemistry, you know. And you can't just be any old body coaching LeBron. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know him. You got to understand what LeBron expects of you. Right. You know, it's crazy like that, but that's what it is. That's what we're talking about, the face of the league.
Right.
So, and I think Tyronn has an understanding of that, and I think he's the right piece. I think it worked.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's he's young enough at 41, 42 to still relate to players because, you know, the Lakers are a young team. He's a player's coach. I haven't heard any player that he's coached say anything bad about him. Like you said, he's won with LeBron, the 2015-16 title. So he knows what it takes.
as a player.
He won 2 chips with the Lakers. He knows the organization. He knows the city. He knows the culture. The culture in LA hasn't changed.
Right.
He played in LA. That's a big.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
a huge factor. Like I said,
Right,
people will
right.
Luke Walton played for the Lakers, but Luke Walton
Didn't play.
he didn't play. He wasn't a factor.
Tyronn-
Tyronn Lue was like
he was guarding Iverson.
he was guard Iverson, but we his most notable play is getting stepped over by Iverson.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, Tyronn Lue, he was more of an intricate part in the Lakers' success than Luke Walton was when he played. Now Luke Walton, I don't think, like I said last week, I don't think he should have been the coach of the Lakers. I think Luke Walton will be a great coach. Me personally, I think he'd be a better coach at the collegiate level where he could implement his own system and people, these kids will listen to him more than the NBA cat. Like I said, who's going to respect Luke Walton as a coach? Like I said, Beasley and then they want that fade in the locker room. Nobody respected you as a player, so they're not going to really respect you as a coach because you're not that far off from being a player. So, but I think Tyronn Lue, like you said, he has the history with LeBron. Like I said, when LeBron left Cleveland, I didn't think Tyronn Lue was a great X's and O's guy. I didn't think that of him when he was there. He was just a guy that kind of managed LeBron. Right. You know, they had a relationship with like, okay, I'll let you do you and whatever. But I think Tyronn Lue needs to bring in guys as assistants that will implement an offensive system and a defensive system because Lakers have no identity. So if Tyronn Lue brings in guys that comes in with a nice offensive skill set, you have to have a scheme around LeBron to cater to his strengths. We're at the end of his run.
That's it.
You know, so you can't just isolate LeBron and expect great things. You're gonna have a guy. Look, if you study LeBron in Miami, you're gonna have to bring some of that Miami style to LA. LeBron was most effective when he didn't have the ball in his hands as much, when he was operating 18 feet mid post and in. Okay. So that's where LeBron was his most effective as a player. He had 3 or 4 of the most effective seasons statistically and percentage-wise in the history of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think if he brings in the right pieces, then, you know, now the Lakers can really compete.
Yeah.
But if you're just going to bring in, you know, Whoop Wop and Whoop-de-Whoop in as assistants, yo, bro, let's get some identity on both ends of the court.
Let's have a purpose.
Yeah, I think a guy like Brian Shaw, I would keep him around as an assistant.
I like that.
I would bring in Juwan Howard as an assistant. You know, bringing that, like you said, bringing that Miami culture. And
James Posey, too.
I was going to say James Posey as well. Those will be my assistants. I'll see what's up with Sam Cassell. Even though he's with the Clippers, I don't know what his contract's looking like. You need. Point is, you need guys like that who are tough when they play, and most importantly, all the guys I just named were defensive players.
And that's the most important thing to me.
We know the Lakers were dead last in the league in defense. So
I'm gonna give you a guy I bring in as an assistant. You name some great assistants. Like I said, I think about McAdoo will be one of my guys I bring in.
Ooh, from Miami. Ooh, Bob.
Here's another guy. He just got let go in Minnesota. I like Thibodeau. He might not take the assistant role, but I will bring you in as my associate head coach.
Thibodeau
Because no,
I'm sorry, Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, Tom Thibodeau. Yeah, I'll bring you in as my associate head coach to man my defense.
That would be
Hey,
You know, because that's when Thibodeau was the most effective. Was when he was Doc's
on the dock.
associate head coach running his defensive schemes.
And who was an assistant coach on that squad? Tyronn Lue.
Tyronn Lue was an assistant on that squad.
On that
So
Boston
they
team.
have a history. That's what I'm saying. That's why I like. Those are some guys I'd like to bring in.
Yeah.
You know, under Tyronn Lue.
Right, because he'll have, and they're going to give him the freedom to handpick his own staff.
As I should.
Definitely, he should.
he will.
But see, let's be honest with you. Let's not bring in who was in the. Let's start not bringing guys like David Blatt and cats like that.
Nah, we don't
None of
want
them
those
Cleveland
guys.
guys. Y'all leaving those guys there. You guys stay in Cleveland.
What about Larry Drew? Would you bring him in
Larry,
as an assistant?
you know what? Actually, I would bring in Larry Drew as assistant. Well, Larry Drew's kind of getting. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm not gonna. What dynamic did Larry Drew bring? You see what I'm saying? I really didn't hear too much. I mean, Larry Drew was a pretty good NBA player. He was decent head coach for the stints he had. He's a pretty good stand-up assistant coach from what I'm hearing. I just don't see any. I haven't heard anything dynamic he brought to the table. You hear about guys like Miles Simon, who's a fantastic shooting coach. Right. My guy Tracy Murray. What's up, Tracy? Who's a fantastic shooting coach, right? I don't hear anything about Larry Drew like he's a great X's and O's. I haven't heard anything like that.
Yeah.
But
I got somebody.
who?
Chauncey Billups.
Chauncey just got that Minnesota job, didn't he?
Oh, he didn't take. Oh, he didn't get that. Huh? He didn't. I don't think he wanted that job.
Probably.
He interviewed for it, but you
Yeah,
know.
I don't think that's Chauncey's mo.
Right.
You know, I think if Chauncey was to go into a front office, it would have to be Denver or Detroit, something either home or
A team he knows.
A team he knows. You
Right.
know,
But would y'all bring him as an assistant?
Yeah, that's definitely, man. Big shot.
hey,
He knows the game. His brain,
Definitely,
his
yeah.
IQ, his basketball IQ is
Absolutely.
sick.
ridiculous. So I'm
He's definitely somebody they're gonna respect. You know, it's funny we used to talk about Chauncey. He looked like the cat that used to come to the game with the house shoes on, with the corduroy house shoes on, with the cut off khakis.
They just drop you off.
He just come in. You can
Drop
see
you off.
him and Baron Davis. You just see them on the hoop court with cut off khakis and the flannel get buckets, right?
Yeah.
But I think Chauncey definitely will bring a dynamic. Cause like I said, that 04 Pistons team was tough.
Oh,
He was under Larry Brown. He knows some. Like I said, he
what I'm
knows.
saying.
Chauncey knows schematics. He knows the game. Chauncey would be a great fit.
Yeah.
But would he take it though?
That's the
That's
question.
the thing. I mean, I think he's searching for that front office job, but you know, assistant coach can lead to that.
Right.
I mean, you know, Tyronn Lue, he has, you know, a handful of guys he can, you know, pick from if and when he gets that job.
Right.
They said a deal is supposed to happen in the next couple of days.
Get it done, man.
Get it done, man. You know, he most importantly, he knows the right system for LeBron to be in for LeBron to succeed. He knows the right guys to put around LeBron. He knows what LeBron needs. He knows what LeBron needs.
Like I said, real quick, I think LeBron needs to realize when he was most effective, that's going to be the less work. Okay, like I said, with Miami, you didn't have to work as hard in Miami as you did in Cleveland, as you did last year with the Lakers. He lost a step a little bit. It looked like he had to work hard for a lot of his shots last year. Harder than he's ever had to. So he has to realize you got to get somebody in that's going to, hey, LeBron, yo man, let's work on this back to the basket game. Let's work on this mid range game. Stop that whack ass step back three. That shit's trash. I love you, LeBron. You're my favorite player.
But come on, man.
But
It's
that
not your
move's
game,
trash
bro.
for you, bro.
It's not your game.
I don't mind LeBron in transition, spotting up, pulling up for three.
Yeah.
I just don't like that step back. So predictable. But let's get him mid post, isolating. Let's move LeBron to the four. As a point forward. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I don't like the step back three either. I don't mind LeBron shooting, but I would like at this stage of his career and his age, because you know LeBron got some miles on him.
Definitely.
I would like him to adapt the way Kobe did when he got older.
He need to get with Kobe.
When Michael Jordan got older, they became efficient mid-range shooters.
Exactly.
And LeBron, I love you, but you know you can't do the things you used to do. You're not the fastest guy in the league. You're still highly athletic, but you're not the most athletic guy.
Yeah.
You know, you can still, you know, full steam ahead, get to the paint whenever you want to.
His IQ is still off the
His
charts.
IQ is still off the charts, but you know, you're a step slower. So you have to develop certain parts to your game to adapt to where you are in your career right now. And the post is where he should be.
He should be in the post, or at least isolate mid range. I don't like him having to dribble 94 feet, then to set up offense. You know, then to get the ball and dribble back 10 feet to go back full head of steam forward. Okay, let's eliminate a lot of that shit.
Right.
LeBron really hasn't developed a go-to move.
Yeah.
Okay, he has to develop a go-to move. Like I said, he has to develop a mid-range shot. His three-point shot has improved.
Got better.
But
Got better.
like I said, I don't want to see him fall in love with that shit. Mid-range game, limit his work output so he can be more effective. We need to work on one or two moves that he could go to. I don't care if it's a spin fall away in the post or a behind the back step back 15-footer. I don't want 27-footers. So let's work on something in that mid range where you're effective. Like I said, every other dynamic he's going to be good at: rebounding, assisting, playmaking. That's a given. So now, with that said, I want to hear you guys' opinion on this. I watched Dennis Rodman on the internet the other day. He almost said the same thing I've been saying about LeBron the past few years, but he took it to another level, basically saying almost like LeBron's trash. He has no moves, and him, Scotty, and Mike or locking him up. That's easy work. That's basically what Dennis Rodman said. LeBron is easy work. Wow. What do you think? How do you think, real quick, do you think LeBron, how you think he would fare in that era? To me, like you said, I'm not going to touch on too much, but remember, Scottie Pippen didn't have any moves at all.
True.
Okay, he had just maybe a between the legs and go by you, but he wasn't Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway off dribble at 6'8". So let's keep it real, Dennis. But what do you guys think?
You know, I love Dennis Rodman. I model my game after him, but just have several seats. Like let's I'll pick any
Motherfucker,
seat.
take the whole row.
Matter of fact, you can have this seat I'm sitting in right now. It's yours. This look, man. This LeBron James we talking about. He transcends generations. He could have dominated the 70s. He could have held his own in the 80s, which I think is the toughest era. He would have held his own against big guys like Karl Malone, Moses Malone, Charles Barkley. He could have held his own. Michael Cooper. Physically held his own. And to be honest with you, there wasn't one matchup in the 90s that let's take LeBron, Miami LeBron. You put Miami LeBron in the 90s.
I'm gonna tell you real quick. Then I'm gonna let you hit on the breeze. LeBron would have his game. He would have adapted his game to the style of defenses played back then. They would have packed the paint on you heavily, LeBron, and you would have got beat up going to that rim. So you would have did like Jordan and adapted your game for nice little 16, 17 foot pull up and develop that mid range game. So I think LeBron would have adapted to the style. So that would have forced him to develop mid range games, jump shots quicker, a post game quicker.
Ooh, that's good.
You know,
point. That's
because he hasn't had to do that in this era.
That's a great point.
He's a victim of his environment.
He's a victim of his environment, a victim of his era.
That's a great point.
As much as great as he is, he's succumbed to his era because he's been faster and so more athletic than everybody else he played against.
You didn't have to worry about
He didn't have to worry about none of that, working on none of that shit.
Right.
It's like it's almost like a Ben Simmons. He's been bigger, faster, stronger than everybody. He hasn't worked on his mid-range game or what he needs to work on to be a more complete player.
Right.
Now, I'm not taking it away from LeBron because he has it in him because I've seen it. It's just now he has to realize, I can't do what I used to do.
Right,
So
right.
now I have to really develop this other or work on this other stuff. This, like I said, mid-range and post. He needs to be more effective.
And you know how you spoke on how you don't want him to fall in love with the three, but at the same time, I feel like he's doing that just so he could take some of the load off himself. I mean, let me shoot a little bit more. Let me. Plus, playing with Steph all them damn times in the finals, he didn't. It's just kind of contagious.
But is it effective though for
That's
him?
the thing.
To me, he's bailing the defense out
He is.
by shooting and settling for 10, 11 threes a game. You're bailing the defense out.
Right.
Like I said, if you put LeBron 18 feet in, I don't care if it's a face up or a mid post or back to the basket, bro. They're gonna have to double him. Okay, like I said, you put him at the 4 in that area, that 4 is gonna have a problem anywhere on the floor. But especially in that area because but LeBron has to make quick moves. He can't sit there with his back to the basket with the shimmies and dribble 18 times. Bro, make a quick move to make the defense react.
Exactly.
That's what But I think he'll do it next year. I'm telling you, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he's gonna do all that next year.
I hope so.
He's not gonna shoot. He's gonna limit his threes to 5 to 6 a game.
Yeah, I think that especially if they get another star free agent, he'll adapt his game to them. And his game, like you said, like he needs somebody that can take the pressure off him, ball handling wise. That's why I think Kyrie will probably be the great fit for him right now, the best fit. But back to Scottie Pippen, did Scottie Pippen guard a guy like LeBron? I mean, he guarded a lot of great players. Probably one of the best, if not the best, 3-and-D guy ever. But did he guard a guy like LeBron
Effectively,
James?
you mean effectively?
Just
Period.
period.
Because he guarded Grant Hill. He guarded
No.
Grant Hill.
Yeah.
But Grant Hill used to drop him off.
Yeah, did he guard a guy like LeBron James?
The closest guy to LeBron James, I say he guarded was Grant Hill. He wasn't, like I said, but Grant wasn't as physical and as fast as LeBron. But the closest with his skill set would be Grant Hill.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But was he effective guarding Grant Hill?
No.
By no means.
Come on now.
By no means.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me if you weren't effective guarding Penny Hardaway and Grant Hill,
Yeah.
LeBron is
it's a different type of
totally different
beast.
ballgame
Right. I
there.
mean, I think that the 2012 and 2013 LeBron James, best player I've ever seen in my life. Best player.
Most efficient. That's the word I was looking for. Was his efficiency?
Right. That 2-year LeBron, best player I've ever seen in my life. You think Scottie Pippen locking that up?
Hell no.
Bro. Kobe Bryant with the afro was cooking you
Oh man.
in Portland.
In Portland.
That's
Yo,
facts,
man,
facts.
you were getting cooked. I've seen guys like Damon Stoudemire and Rod Strickland give you some of that work.
I mean, and
Scotty was a great defender.
great defender.
You know, but I mean, Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars used to give you buckets.
Dominique Wilkins used to drop Scottie Pippen off. And we talking about Jordan, another one of the best one-on-one defenders. Grant Hill used to give Jordan fits.
Here, pitch, Scotty, you guard him. I'm gonna go guard whoever, Lindsey Hunter or some shit. I ain't guarding this nigga.
I'm gonna go guard Terry Mills.
Me too.
I'm gonna go guard him. I mean, like that was a bold statement. Obviously, you know, Michael and Scotty are his boys, so he has to, you know, gas them up. But yeah, he's
Yeah, I didn't want to dwell on that subject.
Yeah,
I had to
couldn't
throw that
have,
out there.
couldn't
That
have,
that didn't sit with me too well. I love Rodman. I think Rodman is the most versatile defender the game has ever seen.
Right.
But the saying you guys would lock up. Was it? They would have frustrated LeBron definitely.
Yeah.
Because the Bulls were a great defensive team.
Right.
They had a team schematic. Individually, Pippen, you know, shit, you too light in the ass.
Come on. So y'all been watching any games lately? Yeah. Off and on.
Often here and there.
Yeah. Y'all been watching any of that Golden State Houston series?
Yeah, that was last night was kind of weird. Now he missed a wide open dunk.
Bro, what was up with that, bro?
What?
Yeah, man,
I don't know.
He had the ball. He had one shining moment playing in his head. But that's not the first time we've seen him do that.
Steph
Wide
is the
open.
most athletic guy the game has ever seen.
No, he's a string bean.
That's one of those should have been a filet layup.
Hey, that was you at Walnut Park.
Hey, bring up old shit over here. It's all good though.
No, see the difference
Somebody
is.
was about to be caught. If I didn't have a
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Oh, you was wide open.
Wide open.
we was in the fast break. What you talking about?
No. You was wide open.
Jamal was over
No,
here.
we hung back because we thought this was your moment.
Bro,
We hung back.
that song was really playing at that time. And you let us down.
And let us down literally.
Oh, bro. But
Anyway, that's a topic for another.
That was a painful
But the
situation.
difference between you and Steph actually dunked before.
damn.
Oh,
I'm
man,
joking with you.
I'd have banged out.
Have y'all been paying attention to this bad officiating in this
Oh
series?
my God.
It's been bad officiating for
years.
years in the
Right,
league. It's
right.
nothing, like I said, nothing's consistent.
Right.
You know, and you know nothing is consistent. The rules are interpreted different ways. Okay, like I said, I don't know what's a legal guarding position. I don't know in the NBA. I don't know what's a legal guarding position. I don't know the verticality defensively in the NBA because I'll see guys jump out of the restricted area in the paint going for a block shot. They'll jump straight up in their verticality. And then there's contact, but the offensive player benefits from the contact. So what's the defensive verticality and what's the defensive guard position? It's not clear cut to me because it's so inconsistent. You know,
whole plan.
exactly. Then it depends on who's the beneficiary
Right.
offensively. Like, you know,
Yeah, so that leads me to ask y'all: do y'all think that referees show favoritism towards certain players and certain teams?
They do, and I think
We want names. Name names.
referee, players,
Players or teams. Do they show favoritism?
shit.
I'm gonna be 100. It's about who the money's on. It's about the money.
Exactly.
You know, because one night James Harden is gonna get. One night he can get 30 free throws.
Yeah.
The next night he'll get 6. Okay, he plays the same way every night. Okay, so the inconsistency, not just the inconsistency of officiating, but I hate to make that statement, but
I mean,
I think
keeping
a
it real
lot
here.
of money dictates what's going on in these games, man.
Let's
And
just be real. NBA is entertainment.
Entertainment,
It's not
exactly.
sports. It's not.
Exactly.
It's not. They ain't worried about the best athlete. They worried about who's
right.
putting on the best show
right.
and who everybody wants to see.
So we all know LeBron has been the money. LeBron has been the face of this league. So how come he gets no love by the officials? Like the refs hate him for some reason. He gets no love. He doesn't get the love that a Steph Curry or a James Harden might get.
I think LeBron is. He almost gets the Shaq treatment.
Hey,
He's
hard
bigger,
to-
faster, stronger
hard
than
to
everybody. So that little love tap, you could take that. Hey, quit crying.
Right.
Yeah,
You know.
that's
So,
bullshit.
plus, a lot of these officials, by my officiating experience, if you a crybaby, I don't want to give you shit. And 98% of the NBA is a bunch of fucking crybabies.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Even if they in the wrong.
Even if they in the wrong, you a fucking crybaby, bro.
Man.
Like I get so tired of looking at that shit. You know, it's sickening. But as an speaking from when I officiated, I want to call the game fair, but I also my bad. Okay, but also I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt to the guys that just play ball. Okay, so you might be the worst guy on the floor, but you playing the hardest and you're not complaining. You just going hard no matter what the foul is, what the situation is. You just going hard. Oh, this guy plays hard. I ain't got to worry about him crying.
Right.
But if you crying and this and that, every possession you crying and you go to the hole, you get smacked in the head. You might get smacked in the head. Well, I might let that shit go.
Right.
I might be like, I ain't see nothing. My bad. I missed it. Human error.
Right.
You know, human error. So, but
I'll
you
look
know,
another way.
right.
Yeah,
But let's be honest with you. It's you
I
know,
mean, I think that, and I'm just gonna be real. I mean, I think they do show favoritism.
yeah, for sure.
We all know the Golden State Warriors are referees' favorites.
Right.
There's been times where I've been watching these games where I'm thinking to myself, man, I mean, I wonder how much they on the payroll. You know what I mean? Game 7, 2018 Western Conference Finals. 2-minute report came out last week. There was a total of 81 non-calls and violations
In that game,
in that game.
81.
81 non-calls and violations that cost the Rockets 18.6 points.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
How much they lose by?
They lost by 9, so they would have won that game. Like they lost 92 to 101. They would have won
Or could have
110.
won.
They could have won 110 or 111 to 101.
That's deep.
81 non-calls and violations that the league looked at.
Was that from both teams or just from Golden State's?
Just period. Like, no.
The whole game, 81.
Against Houston, like that
Oh.
in Golden State's favor. In Golden State's favor. 18.6 points that Houston probably would have won that game and probably would have went on to win the championship. I read that report, my jaw dropped.
Not bad.
I'm not surprised. Like, let's go back to what Big Breeze said. It goes back to entertainment. Who's, like I said, the hot team with the entertainment value is Golden State.
Yeah.
So they have the entertainment value right now. Okay, now if you quiet as kept. We talked about the ratings dip last week because, of course, LeBron's not in it.
Right. No entertainment.
But Golden State's slowly losing their entertainment value because they're tired of people are getting tired of seeing it.
getting tired of
You
it.
don't want to see the same old story. So that you know,
Right. And they're not as entertaining to watch anymore because they're starting to get banged up.
but then who wants to watch? You got 3 or 4. If you got a whole starting 5 that's all stars, all NBA guys. I mean, I don't. You know, I really don't want to watch that. You know, I want to see some competitive balance. I don't mind 2 or 3 guys teaming up. Like it was cool when it was Steph, Clay, and Draymond. Even if they added Cousins, but then you throw in Durant. You know, to me that takes the competitive nature out the game.
Yeah, it does.
You know, I don't mind. Do what you do.
And away from them.
You know, yeah. But I don't know,
Take
bro.
your love away from if y'all win the easy. We got all these shit. I ain't got to do too much.
Yeah, it's
KD
like-
finna go and rock out.
I mean, you get tired of seeing that.
Yeah, man.
But I'm not hating on them. I'm just
No.
speaking my opinion. It takes away from the competitive balance of the league. Like I said, it wasn't nothing wrong with KD playing with OKC and Russell Westbrook, and they going to Game 7 with Golden State. That was entertainment. That was good entertainment.
They were up 3-1.
And you're up 3-1. Why would I'm not gonna touch too much on that. But you were up 3-1. So I mean, I thought that was the easy way out.
Yeah.
Like you can't compare that to when LeBron joined Miami because nobody wanted to go to Cleveland. And Cleveland didn't do enough to put the proper pieces around him the first go round.
Yeah.
So LeBron had to do what he had to do. Like, look, the only way I'm gonna win, I might have to get out of town. Nobody wants to come to Cleveland. So I'll go play with you in Miami with D Wade.
Yeah.
But D Wade is a great player. But
At that time he didn't have the star, quality of a Steph and Klay Thompson. At that time, D Wade was great at that time, but he wasn't the darling of the NBA.
he wasn't Steph.
like Steph. You know what I'm saying?
he's better than Clay.
He didn't have that allure.
Right.
And we can't compare a guy going to a 73 win team to a guy to a team that didn't make the playoffs the year before. Miami didn't make the playoffs the year before LeBron got there.
Right.
You know what I mean? If anything, like Miami helped, he helped Miami.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. Durant helped. Would they have won these 2 championships without Durant?
I think they probably would.
I think
They'd have been there.
I think if Durant would have stayed, OKC would have got one. And but LeBron helped Miami. You know what I mean? So since we talking about the Warriors, I mean, they're trying to three-peat. Only 2 teams have done that in the past 30 years. The Bulls and the Lakers. Everybody's thinks, including myself, that this run is over. People think that they can probably win the next 3 or 4. The Warriors. I mean, me personally, I think it's over. I think this is their last run. But when it's all said and done, what we've seen the last 5 years, is this the greatest dynasty that we've seen?
Like we spoke about, it's an era thing. And I don't think that this Golden State team would have been as dope in the 90s and 80s.
Why?
Because I don't think they're tough enough. Even with Boogie. I don't think they're tough enough. Steph and Clay, I think they would get Boogie to the point where they would be ineffective in the game.
Just think about Steph trying to dribble up court
On Gary Payton.
Gary Payton or Alvin Robinson, 94 feet with a hand check
Right.
or a forearm in your side. Just think about Klay Thompson getting cracked every time he come off a stagger screen. Boogie Cousins isn't a defensive presence. That's why I'm in a total agreement with what you do. Boogie Cousins never been a defensive presence that
Wow.
wows you. He's not athletic, but he's skilled offensively. Okay, but nothing else about Boogie scares you. He scares his skill set scares the coaches because you don't know his emotions scare the coaches more than his defensive than his defensive presence.
What emotion you get?
Yeah, damn.
Right.
What Boogie come tonight? You know. So you hit it on here. I don't think they'd be effective. I'm gonna say they will. I think players adapt.
True.
I think players adapt to the nature of the game, but I don't think they will be as effective like they are today.
Right.
As far as the greatest dynasty, nah, man. They're in the top 5
Yeah.
because of what they've done. Like I said, they've done it before KD and they're doing it with KD.
With KD.
Right.
So it's not like KD went there and automatically they start winning this championship. They done it before that. And we talking about 3 championships in 4 years, including a 73 win season, which we all know that's the most in NBA history. They have in the last 5 years since their title run started, they have a record of 322 wins, 88 losses. That's a 78.5 win percentage.
Shit.
I mean,
Nice percentage.
yes, that's not a bad percentage at all. I think statistically, this is the best, team or dynasty ever.
offensively efficient.
Offensively.
They're the most
Offensively efficient. Right,
efficient.
right.
Yeah.
But am I putting him up there with the 87 Lakers, the 96 Bulls, the 01 Lakers?
Can't take nothing away from what the Celtics done in the '60s either.
Right.
That 10-year run they went on, you know what I mean? Man.
It's a lot of great. I don't think.
I think matchup wise compared to those teams, no, they're not better than those teams matchup wise. I'm not talking about the scoring. I'm not talking about the 3-point shooting that everybody falls in love with. I'm not a fan of it. I'm talking about matchup 1 through 5, the way those teams defended, the way those teams rebounded. Those teams were complete.
Right.
They had defenders,
Yeah, inside, outside.
outside game. Is the Golden State on their level? No, they're not. To me, they're not.
But some people think they're better than '96 Bulls.
Some people do.
I mean, a lot of '96 Bulls were great. I mean, Showtime Lakers were the greatest team to me. And because Showtime Lakers could give you whatever you want. We could give you 3-point shooting. We could fast break with you. We could play in the half court. Or you want to scrap, nigga? We could squab too.
Right,
What you talking about?
Right.
So the Showtime Lakers gave you everything you needed and wanted.
Yeah.
I think I think the Showtime Lakers were the most versatile team in the history of the game. Like I said, in that Magic Johnson era, he played 13 years with the 9 championships. Okay.
One
He came out the gates winning.
1-5.
And you can't say nothing about Magic. He came out the gates winning, and then take him 6 years or wait for these guys to leave. He came out the gates winning. I'm a winner from day one.
everything.
He did everything. He played
five
every position,
positions.
every position effectively.
Man.
42, 15, and 7 in a championship clinching game.
Right.
So I mean,
I mean,
LeBron's the only one that does similar stuff.
Right. But like you said,
Statistic-wise.
Magic came out winning. It took Jordan 7 years.
Right.
It took LeBron 7 years. It took Curry 6, 7 years. Well, I say 6 years, 7 years to be the Steph Curry he is now.
Right.
You know, KD, it took him, when he come in the league, 7? It took him 9 years, 10 years.
Down at 10.
It took him 10 years to win his first championship.
But see, he had to leave his team.
That's what I'm saying.
These other guys didn't leave their teams.
That's what I'm saying.
He had to leave his team. But we say the same thing about LeBron. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
he had to
yeah.
leave his team to go win somewhere else.
Right.
But with LeBron's, in LeBron's case, he came back to Cleveland and won for
Right.
Cleveland.
And plus, when LeBron went to Miami, was Miami ready-made?
No.
Golden State was ready-made.
Yeah, they were built from
They
the
won without you.
Yeah.
They just won 73 games a year before you got there. Miami wasn't ready-made. Like you said, most importantly, he went back to Cleveland, finished what he started.
Do you think this Miami team is better than the Golden State team? I like that Miami team better
I think so.
than Golden State to me. We forgot we ain't mentioned them as a mini dynasty. They weren't, they went to 4 straight finals.
Yeah.
They were a mini dynasty.
Yeah, Ray over there.
Yeah, Chris Bosh. I mean, you had a squad over there. You had you had a complete team.
See, the thing that people, they're better than the 96 Bulls. Well, the 96 Bulls won 72 games
And a championship.
and a chip the same year. Y'all won 73 and lost. So I think that 73 wins.
guy.
Nobody forget, like,
Well, no disrespect, Kyrie.
Well, nah.
no, Kyrie hit the biggest shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did, exactly.
So all the guys, all the fanboys, the pom-pom wavers, they're better than the 96 Bulls. All right, well,
The Bulls got the job done.
it ain't a thing without the ring.
Right, it ain't a thing.
So,
So who's your go? Real quick, who's your greatest? Who's your greatest team or franchise of all time?
Of course, I'm gonna say Lakers.
Which Laker run?
I'm at the Showtime. I
Showtime.
think they went on the longest one. Like you say, Magic.
87 Lakers. 87 Lakers.
Showtime Lakers is my
87
greatest franchise, my
87
greatest dynasty, whatever you want to call it.
87 Lakers, for sure. For sure. Like I said, no disrespect to Golden State and what they've done.
Yeah,
but,
no disrespect. Even though they're all great players, great phenomenal players, for this era they're phenomenal.
Right.
They're exceptional.
Right.
So I'm not taking nothing away from. I just like the Showtime Lakers a little better. I like the Shaq. I like Lake Show, Shaq and Kobe a little better. I like the Miami Heat a little better. It's just teams I like better than Golden State. That's my fixation.
Yeah.
Y'all think that this Golden State dynasty could have beat the Spurs dynasty?
See, the Spurs are complete too.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Defense.
and when I mean
Kawhi.
when I mean complete, I'm talking about the bench as well. These
Right.
Golden State championship teams haven't had great benches.
All the way to the head, to the coach.
Yeah, and they're better. They have a better coach. Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah, not bad.
Hey, now the Kawhi Leonard team, because he brought a little something little different to the table on both ends of the floor. The
2014
Ask LeBron
championship
about
team.
that.
Yeah,
Right. He brought a little something. He brought something a little different to the table. Now, prior to that, what you go to the 01 or what? When did they win it? 03, 05, 07?
14,
I think they could beat them teams.
but 2014. Yeah,
But 2014, because of Kawhi Leonard factor with that team,
Yeah.
I like them a lot
Wow,
better.
and all up in step ass.
man.
Hey,
And not only that, man, that 2014 Spurs championship team. The reason that team was so special because everybody played a part in that championship. It wasn't just Kawhi. It was, even though he won the Finals MVP. Everybody from the start lineup to every player off that bench came in and contributed to that championship team. You know what I mean?
yeah, nah, you're definitely right. They were a complete team.
Right.
1 through 12.
Yeah. So yeah, let's man, good stuff, fellas. Let's I'm gonna ask one more little question to y'all. You know, Carmelo Anthony, you know that's my guy.
Melo.
What up, Melo?
Hoodie Mello.
You know,
Hoodie Mello. Now they got Beanie Mello.
Hey,
I see you out there, Mello.
man, take that beanie off, man.
Get that work, though.
Take that beanie off, man. He said he's open to a possible Knicks reunion this summer.
That'd be interesting.
Do y'all think a team should take a chance on him going into his 17th year this summer? Do y'all think a team should?
I think if you're a team like the Knicks, you do. Why not? Carmelo, I think he still got some good basketball in him.
Yeah.
You know, especially with the acquisition that may come.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true. That's true.
And, you know, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I think he still has 1 or 2 good years. I'm not saying 20, 25 points a game, but I'm saying he could still come and give you 12 to 15. But you gotta. It's a lot like how LeBron's game is turning into. You gotta take Melo off the damn 3-point line, put him where he's effective. Okay.
Right.
With that said, I thought the Lakers should have picked him up last year.
Yeah.
You know,
Obvious choice.
I'm serious. I was so serious about them signing Carmelo that I thought it was gonna come true.
Man.
All the rumors and everything because he was a piece they needed.
LeBron wanted him.
They want. He has to, but Melo has to realize I have to come off the bench now. I mean, you can start for a few teams. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Vince Carter's still out there being somewhat productive. I know Carmelo could still give you something, but I think Carmelo he'll be efficient off the bench.
Yeah.
You know, give him 18, 20 minutes. Let him be effective. Let him do what he do.
Yeah.
Like I said, Melo's a bully. Put him on that block in that mid-range game. He's still, to me, Melo, since Rip Hamilton, he's got the best mid-range game we've seen since Rip Hamilton left.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Rip was phenomenal.
Yeah, man. It's like you said, man. You know, Vince Carter's coming back for his 22nd year. If he's still getting tick, and no disrespect to Vince Carter, he's had a great career. He'll probably be in the Hall of Fame. But at 42 years old, if he's still getting roster spots,
Why ain't Carmelo?
why ain't Melo? I
Why
mean,
not?
come on, man. We're talking about a guy. The first 14 years of his career, averaged 24 points a game, consistently. First 14 years, top 20 scorer of all time. He goes to OKC, wasn't the right fit, but still gives you 16 a game. Goes to Houston, still wasn't the right fit, but he still gave you 14 a game. So I don't understand how people calling him a scrub. He's falling off. I mean,
These guys, they don't know basketball.
it just he just wasn't put in the right systems. He doesn't fit in with today's NBA run and gun, 3-point shooting. He doesn't fit into that style. Like you
He's not a
said.
3-point. He's not a.
Not anymore. Not
he's
anymore.
Melo's an ISO scorer.
Yeah.
Melo falls into the
that.
category he doesn't play well off the ball.
Right.
So Melo has to have the ball in his hand to be effective. He's another one of those guys.
Right.
You get him with the right system, you know, where he doesn't have to have he has to know himself. Yo, how am I going to be effective to prolong my career?
Right.
So he has to put that in his head. I'm not Carmelo of
That I
5
used to
years
be.
ago.
That I used to be.
You know, so it's up to him, really. I think he can, but at the end of the day, it's up to him.
Exactly.
Yeah. Once he, accepts a limited role and really commits to it, I think he'll be okay. I think he'll get a shot this summer.
Yeah, and I don't think he has a problem taking a limited role.
Yeah, I think somebody
hard
will
it is
get
to
it.
get in the league. Right?
Exactly, and he's showing. And he exactly.
Yeah, I think he'll get a shot.
Yo, man. With that said, we'll go wrap it up, fellas.
Yeah.
So
Pay some bills. Pause for the cause.
at the end of the day, great show, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Till next time, world. King's Court, we out. Peace and blessings.